All right, welcome back to my basement rec room, which is serving as a lab for the moment. This is going to be an instructional video about how to do the next lab activity, which is going to be much more purely a discovery sort of activity. We want you to just play around with something and look for some interesting features. So this is going to use the diffraction grating that we mailed to you. Hopefully you've gotten this in the mail, otherwise it's going to be really difficult. What this is a plastic film with a bazillion tiny little grooves notched into it. And what this does is it acts like a bazillion little slits that cause diffraction and split light up into its component colors. So if you hold it up to your eye or to the camera here, right, you can see some pretty little rainbows without any chemical assistance. So what this does is break light up into its component colors, and we're going to make a little portable spectroscope that you can use to investigate the light that's emitted by various kinds of things. This needs a little bit of additional material, so we've got some construction paper here that I swiped from my kids, a pair of scissors, and a cardboard tube from a roll of toilet paper. Hopefully you managed to get some of this before it became the rarest commodity on earth. If you don't have toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls would also work. You know, anything, you just want a tube that you can mount the diffraction grating on that will exclude light from it. So what we want to do is take the paper and cut a strip of paper that's a little bit wider than the paper towel, than the toilet paper tube. And then we're going to sort of fold this over so it caps off one end of the tube. All right, so we're going to use that to block off an end of the tube, and then I'll take a little bit of Scotch tape here and tape this down so that the paper is held over the end of the tube. Here. Here. And I'll go a couple more pieces just to hold it tight against the cardboard on the sides here. If you don't have construction paper, you could probably just take a strip or two of duct tape and put it across the end of the cardboard tube. If you don't have duct tape, you have done a horrible, horrible job of being prepared for the apocalypse, and, you know, God have mercy on you. The goal here is just to end up with a tube that is capped off so you don't see light coming through the end of it. Then we're going to want to allow a little bit of light to come through the end of it. So I got a knife here. I'm just going to make a single vertical slit by, you know, sticking the knife down into the paper here. You know, push it back and forth a few times. You want this slit to be a little more open than when we were doing the diffraction of the laser. We want it a little wider, but the idea is just you should have a slit where you can see a little bit of light through the end. Then you take your diffraction grating, and if you look at it, you'll see there is one direction in which it spreads light out into the rainbows. You want that to be arranged so that the spreading is perpendicular to the slit that we cut in the tube. And then you're going to take another couple of pieces of tape and just tape the diffraction grating onto the end of the tube opposite where you put the slit. So when you've finished that, you should hopefully have a spectroscope that if you look through it at a source of light, off to the sides of the slit, you'll see little rainbows. You'll see the light and some colors to either side as you look through the diffraction grating end. This is now taking the colors of light from whatever is emitting the light and spreading them out so that you can see them. What we want you to do with this is to go out and investigate several different sources of light. So something like a hot object, like the heating element in a toaster or an electric stove, something like an incandescent bulb, or things like that. And we also want you to try and find sources that are not like those. So hot things are going to emit sort of a black body radiation. It's going to be a very broad spectrum that's continuous, all different wavelengths. You also want to try and find a few things that aren't that. Fluorescent bulbs are a good thing to look for, particularly like the long tubes like they have in some office settings, if you have any lights around that use those, or the compact fluorescents, the little swirly fluorescent bulbs, particularly the kind, for some reason, the kind that have like two little posts at the bottom. Those work pretty well, getting you emission that is not just a broad continuous spectrum. You can also look at things like TVs and computer monitors. Sometimes those have discrete colors in them that are, because the way human vision works, you can fool your eye into thinking that it's seeing white light if you have a combination of red, green, and blue light. And that's the secret of computer monitors and so on. The very best thing, if you can find it, and if you're in a place where you can get out and about without running afoul of local safety regulations, is neon lights. So if you can find an old school neon bulb, that sort of orangey red color will be one of the best possible options. But really, any kind of neon curved tube glass with light inside it, if you can find those and safely get near enough them to look at them, that's the best kind of source. We want you to go out, take a look for some different sources, use your phone to take pictures of the color distributions of colors you see from a few different sources, and then the usual drill. You'll upload some photos and answer some questions on Nexus. After you do that, that will unlock a video that will talk about what all this has to do with quantum physics and our understanding of the nature of atoms and how matter is really, really weird. The one safety note that I would say, well, two safety notes I would say. One is don't look at the sun. It's very tempting to go out and point this at the sun. That's very, very stupid. Don't look directly in the sun. You can look at light from the sky at some angle away from the sun, but never, ever, ever, ever look directly into the sun. That's idiotic. The other thing is don't be tempted to shine a laser in it, because what are you, crazy? Don't shine lasers into your eyes. Other than that, go out, look around, look for some things that emit light, and see if you can find some that have a spectrum that is not just a broad, continuous rainbow. And after you've done that, upload some stuff to Nexus, unlock the next video, and we will talk about the quantum nature of atoms.